Hello and welcome to Clay Jarvis Guitar. In this live stream, I'm going to talk to you about how to get better at improvising on guitar. Now, maybe you are just starting to learn how to improvise, or maybe you've been working at it for a while and just want to level up your skills and just have more fun with it. Either way, I have some ideas and strategies and just some really kind of things I want to show you that's going to really help you out. As well as one skill I want to talk about that is very important, and it's important to develop that skill, and maybe it's something that you haven't really put that much focus on, but we're going to talk about that in this live stream. So if you have your guitar handy, then grab it and be sure and follow along with me. And be sure and let me know in the chat or the comments, how long have you been playing lead guitar, and what questions do you have about improvising on guitar? So let's first answer the question, what is improvising? So to me, improvising is playing over a set of chords or a chord progression, and basically you're playing whatever you feel, playing whatever you want. You're being creative and playing in whatever scale you want or whatever phrases or whatever it is you want to do. And it's all about you and just your practice, and you're just getting better at your style and really being more confident about getting around on the fretboard. And the idea would be a song that everybody knows, like for instance, I don't know, Can't You See by Marshall Tucker Band. Now you could be playing just a backing track on YouTube with the chords to that song, but you don't necessarily have to be playing the same solo that was played in the song. Instead, you just do your own thing, and you just kind of feel your way through the chords and the chord progression, get a feel for the target notes of each chord, things like that. We're going to talk about all that in this video, but another option would be, of course, going to YouTube and looking up guitar backing tracks, and there's millions of them. And they're in any key you want, any kind of genre you want, any kind of time you want, 4/4, 6/8 time, whatever it is. In this live stream, I'm going to talk about a backing track that I created, and I just posted it a few days ago. And it's going to be in the key of A major. It's going to have it's going to have chords from the A major key. And I'm going to talk about that backing track and talk about some ideas on how to solo over it. Give you some ideas of really just improvising in general on how to get better and make it more productive and make it more fun and all that. So what are the basic steps? Let's go ahead and just kind of walk through this really quickly. Well, first of all, you have to know what chords you're soloing over and the chord progression that you're soloing over. So that's really important. And it really comes down to the next thing is, you need to figure out what key you're in. So sometimes a song could give you some examples. I'd have to think, but there's songs that have like a certain chord progression to the verse, certain chord progression to the chorus, maybe a bridge or something, but the solo section is a whole different section. So you got to really think about what you're playing over and, what key you're in, but at the same time, really sometimes a song could go into not a different key, but it could just go into a whole different section of chords. So think about those chords that you're playing over. And the next thing I want to say is really important to me, and I think this may be something that may go over people's head, but to me, it means a lot to figure out, are you in a major feel, a minor feel, or a bluesy feel? And I want to take just a moment to kind of explain that, because I talk about that on some of my videos and I don't get a whole lot of comments. I don't really know if it's something that people get or not. But let's just say you've got an A major chord right here, and then you've got a C sharp minor chord, you've got an F sharp minor chord, maybe a D chord, maybe an E chord. All those chords, which are exactly the chords that are in the backing track that I created, all those chords are going to basically be in the key of A major. So with that, this is definitely more of a major feel. Now, if this A was an A minor chord, then it changes things up a little bit because now we're in more of a minor feel. So if this was your one chord, this A minor, let's say you had a D minor and maybe a E minor, then you're going to have a whole different set of notes that you're going to want to play over these chords. That'd be just kind of an idea, and then you go to your D major, then your E major, I'm sorry, your E minor. And then you're back to your A minor. So the next thing, of course, is going to be a bluesy feel. Now, blues is kind of what I started off playing, and a lot of people do start off playing with just the pentatonic scale. So if you were playing in a bluesy feel, the first thing comes to mind is your A minor or your minor pentatonic scale, which goes like this. And so that could be played over an A minor, or it could be played over an A7 chord. And then when it goes to the D, it could be a minor, could be a seventh. Same thing with E. So if you were playing on the seventh chord, then you would need this note right here, which is really a major third note of A. So you would have to play something. Even if you played your pentatonic scale, you'd want to bring that major third in there somewhere. Just gives you an example. And another bluesy feel would be, of course, straight minor. Now, if you've got straight minor, you don't need that major third. You just play the minor third that's in the pentatonic scale. Of course, you could bring your blues note in there. All that is for another lesson, but I do have some of the live streams and one in particular that talks about that. Talks about all 5 positions of your pentatonic scale and talks about your blues scale and stuff like that. So I think that's really important to kind of answer that question, but you really got to feel what kind of chord progression you're playing in. Is it major, minor, or is it more of a bluesy kind of a feel? So the next thing would be, what scales do you already know? Now, I just went through 4 or 5 different scales there, but let's just say all you know is that minor pentatonic scale, and that's pretty much all you know. Well, you could do a couple of things. Like I say, if you only knew that one scale, then if you were in a key of A major, then if you only knew that one scale, you could start on this A, and then here we go. This A to this A. If that's all you knew, it's just that one scale. Now we're going to talk about 5 different positions that you can play in the major scale in this video, and we're going to go through them really quickly, but that's just one example. So once again, if we were in the minor thing, then you just stay here. If we're playing something bluesy, and there you go. So that kind of gives you an idea there. Hopefully that will help you. The next thing we're going to talk about is I just said that a moment ago, but can you play in all 5 positions of the pentatonic scale? Now, you may be starting out, and you're not going to learn all those immediately, but you can learn them pretty quickly. And what you want to do is just kind of stay in one position at a time until you get really used to that position, and then maybe move to another position. And eventually, once you can go up and down the fretboard in the 5 positions of the pentatonic scale, And of course, you can add that blues note in there, which is another lesson. But I've got some other I got some links in the description with some other live streams that are going to talk about all of this stuff: the major scale, 5 positions, the pentatonic, 5 positions, the blues scale, all these things. So you can check that out. But that's the next thing right there. Can you play all 5 positions of the pentatonic scale? And the next thing right there would be, can you play all 5 positions of the major scale? Once again, we're going to talk about that in this live stream, but I think all that's very important. And you don't have to learn a whole lot of music theory. You don't have to really dig in and just, go to school on theory on guitar. But if you just knew those 5 positions, and this is kind of like something I've been working on my videos now for a long time, and it seems like I'm always mentioning this same system that I basically believe, and that is, if you've got the 5 pentatonic positions, and of course you can add the blues note, and you've got the 5 positions of the major scale, then you can play in any key, in any kind of song, whether it's major, minor, bluesy, doesn't matter. And over any chord progression, you can figure out what key it's in real easily, and you can play up and down the fretboard. And that's, to me, one of the biggest keys to being a lead guitar player, is getting to that point where you've got the confidence to move up and down that fretboard, knowing where you're at, not getting lost, kind of having an idea of what notes to play and things like that. So I think that's very important. So the next thing is, you want to find a guitar backing track. There's thousands, millions of them on YouTube, and really just start jamming and use whatever scales or positions that you know. So we already talked about that. If you only know one scale, one position, just use that, jam to it, and just figure out by using your ear, how I'm not going to say it's simple, but over time you're going to start to figure out how to find those notes to those chords, and whatever chord progression, whatever chords you're playing in, you're going to be able to start to hit those root notes and start to hit those major thirds or minor thirds, and then your fifths and all that kind of stuff. And all that's really important. But the last thing I want to say is, and this is kind of the last step to these steps of what I'm showing you here, is the most important thing, I believe, is to use your ear and to really be able to hear, a major chord versus a minor chord, be able to hear that seventh, be able to hear, all those things, just be able to hear the notes of a chord. And again, I'm going to be playing in using 6 different chords of the A major key. So once again, it's just a matter of each one of those chords does have a 1, 3, and a 5, whether it be a 1, a major third, and a 5, that's your major chords, or it's a 1 and a minor third and a 5, and that's your minor chords. And all that in the key of A, these notes and these chords and all that's going to work within this key. So learning the 5 positions of the A major scale is going to be critical, or it's going to be very beneficial. I'll put it that way. So the next thing really is just remember to have fun and be creative. Play what you feel and don't think too much. And surely don't worry about making mistakes. I'll be demoing myself playing over this track toward the last part of the video, and you're welcome to hang out and watch and hopefully learn something from that, or just go, bring up the backing track and start jamming to it yourself. That's really what I hope you'll do, is jump in there and just start practicing and start figuring some stuff out for yourself, and make it all about, you, and starting to develop your style, and, learn a few of these positions, or maybe all of them, and just you can start using them. So I believe that's really cool. And, once again, there's going to be links in the description. Real quickly, I've got one live stream that I did that's all about the major scale in 5 positions, or the 5 positions of the major scale. I've got another one that talks all about the 5 pentatonic positions. And I've got a PDF, a free PDF download, which I'm fixing to show you a little bit of that. And it's like I said, free PDF download. You can download. You'll join my email list. I'm not going to be spamming you or anything like that. I'll only send out an email every once in a while, if it's something that's really cool or whatever. But I think it's a very helpful resource, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at that resource right now. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This right here is the free PDF. This is the summary of kind of what's there. There's a lot of stuff in there, you know, but when it really comes down to it, you can do so much with just this one diagram, because this is kind of where it all started for me, was this one diagram right here. And so what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and take this, let me hide that right there so you can see the whole thing. So what I want to do really is I'm going to bring up if I can talk correctly, I'm going to bring up a snippet of this so I can use this red pen here and just kind of show you some things. So first of all, we're in the key of A major. So we're looking at the A major scale. Now in the A major scale, you know, of course you got your 7 notes, and we're going to be talking about the A major chord, the B minor chord, C sharp minor. We're going to have the D chord in there. It's a major. We're going to have the E chord. It's major. We're going to have the F sharp minor. We're not going to worry about the 7. And we're just going to use those 7 notes of the scale in all these 5 different positions, but we're only going to use the 6 chords. So we're using the 3 major chords and the 3 minor chords. And so that's what's going to be cool, because you'll be able to hear each chord and the notes to that chord, and you'll start to be able to feel, you know, how to hit those chord tones. And really, I just want you to focus on your ear. Once again, that's the most important thing I'm trying to stress here, is don't worry about all the theory. Don't worry about all the scales and knowing everything perfect. And surely don't worry about making mistakes. Just go in there and use your ear and think about, just feeling your way through it. And you'll know when you hit a bad note. You'll know when you hit something that doesn't make sense, but you'll also know when you're really nailing those chord tones and when things really sound cool. So I think that's really where I'm going with this. But we're going to talk about the first position, and it's an Ionian mode scale pattern, based on the A, and then on the B minor, this is going to be a Dorian mode scale pattern. We're just going to call this the second position of the A major, key of A major or A major scale. Third position is going to be your C sharp minor, and it's a Phrygian mode scale pattern. We're going to skip the D or the 4, which is the D, and then we're going to go to the 5, and this is going to be your E Mixolydian mode scale pattern. Then your 6 is your F sharp, and that's your Aeolian mode scale pattern. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and show you this this backing track. And when I do, it's got all of these positions on the screen, and it tells you which chord's playing as you play along. So let's go ahead and get into that and see what we got. So if you have any questions or anything like that through the video or throughout, any time, feel free to jump in there, especially if you're on the chat and you want to ask me a specific question. If I'm playing something and you have a specific question, I'll go ahead and stop and try to answer your question. And because I do want to have a conversation and have this be as interactive as possible and not just be all about me. But let's go ahead and go now and talk about this chord progression. And I'm just going to go ahead and play a little bit of it and kind of walk you through it as I go. Now, I will say it's in 6/8 time, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's kind of slow, but it's a backing track that I created, and the idea was to have all 6 of the chords in the A major key. So the A is your 1, the D is your 4, your E is your 5. Those are your major chords. B minor is your 2, C sharp minor is your 3, F sharp minor is your 6. So there's your 3 minor chords. And I think that's really cool because once again, you'll be able to hear all those chords. And I think this is kind of a cool track to play over as well. So let's go ahead and jam to it a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and break down a couple of things here and talk about this chord progression. All This is where it goes into the C sharp minor right here. Now your F sharp minor, back to the D, and then to the E, which is your 5 chord. Now it starts all over again. So it's A, B minor, D, back to A. Once again, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, which is your 6, back to your 4, which is your D, 5, which is your E. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there, and I'm going to talk real quickly about these positions. So let me go ahead and get this to where hopefully you can see that pretty good, and I'm going to bring my guitar in there, and let's see if we can kind of walk through these really quickly. And let's see how this works. So once again, the major scale first position, it's going to start with this A note right here. And you can see the way the notes are. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then it's back to your root note or your 1. And then it goes. So that whole scale pattern looks something like that. Now that's the first position. Second position, as you can see it on your screen right there, is going to start with this B right here. And again, this is a B Dorian mode scale pattern. This was an A Ionian mode scale pattern, if you know the modes or if you're familiar with them. This is your second, which is your B, based off that B minor chord. And this is what the scale pattern looks like. If I could play it right. One more time. And that fits perfectly with that B minor chord right there. Okay, so now we're going to move on, and we're going to go on to bringing up the third and fourth position. And so third and fourth position, your third is going to be based on this C sharp right here. So it's going to start with this note, and it's going to look like this. Once again. And once again, that's based off of that C sharp minor chord. Now, like I said, we're going to skip the 4. So our next thing is going to be the 5 or the 5th position. I'm sorry. Scratch that. I made a mistake. My bad. We're still on the 4th position. Sorry about that. Okay. So we're going to the 4th position is going to be off the E right there. I just meant we were skipping the 4th, which is the D. We're going to the E. So this is your E Mixolydian mode scale pattern. And once again, this is the 4th position of the A major scale. So here we go. And that's what that looks like. Based on that E major chord right there. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the 5th position. And there it is right there. And instead of playing the F sharp way up here on 14th fret, I'm just going to play it down here on the 2nd fret, an octave lower. And so here's what that scale looks like. Once again, this is your F sharp. And this is going to be your F sharp Aeolian mode scale pattern. We're just going to call it the 5th position of the A major scale, so, or A major key or whatever you want to call it. So this is what it looks like. Now this one here you should be familiar with because this brings in that minor pentatonic scale I was talking about. I was talking about that earlier, but now we're just doing the 7 notes instead of just the 5-note pentatonic scale. So the 7-note scale once again is, and that's based off that F sharp minor chord. All right, so what I want to do next is I really want to just kind of go through, of course, this this backing track. The next part of it is going to be, it's just going to play each chord, and it's going to show you all 5 of these patterns the whole time. So as you're jamming to this track, you'll know which chord's coming up, and you'll be able to look at the different scale positions that we just talked about. So you can pick out one position and play in it, or you can do whatever you want to. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you this. I'm going to improvise over this using just the first position, and then we'll go through all the positions real quickly just so you can kind of see all the same notes, just different places on the guitar. So we're going to start once it hits the A right here. And here we go. Now let's go ahead and move on to our second position based off the B. Now let's go to our third position based off the C sharp. And all that right there was just straight pentatonic notes. All right, now let's go to our fourth position based off the E. And there you go. So that's basically all 5 positions. Once again, all I did was just go through and play in each position and trying to hit, the target notes of each chord, and really just hit those root notes and stuff. So that's kind of what it's all about. So what I'm going to do for the remainder of the video, I'm just kind of going to go through it. I'm going to play through this chord progression a little bit longer, maybe a few more minutes or whatever. And I'm just going to kind of mix around, and hopefully you can get some ideas by watching me as to, some ideas that you can do or you can implement. Not that you need to learn any of the licks that I'm playing or anything like that, because I'm just throwing stuff in there. I don't have no idea what I'm doing, and I hadn't planned anything. I don't have a specific solo put together. Again, I'm just improvising. That's what improvising is you don't really have a set plan or a set specific solo that you're trying to nail. You're just playing whatever you feel and whatever comes to mind, and just being creative and having some fun. So that's really what it's all about. So what I want to do is just make sure I don't have anybody ask any questions or have any ideas here. Let's make sure. Yeah, looks like I don't see any questions in the comments or anything like that. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of roll with it. Hope this has been helpful for you. Give me a second here to get back to my main screen. Yeah, I hope this really has been helpful for you. Again, it's just all about you and having fun and, working out your style and, practicing, your scales or your licks or your phrases. It's just all about playing some phrases and just being in a position where you're starting to hit those target notes and stuff, just like we were talking about. So I think that's really important. And like I say, I hope this is something that, you can really learn from. And don't worry about the bad notes, because I'm going to show you here in just a minute. I'm going to hit a few bad notes for sure, so don't hold that against me. But once again, I just want to say that using your ear, that's the theme I'm really trying to bring home in this video. Use what you know, whatever scales you know, and use your ear to work out, whatever it is you're trying to play over. And again, YouTube, there's millions of tracks that you can go in there and find and play around with. And once you know the chords, the keys, and you have an idea of what scales you want to use or what notes you want to use, then you just need to rock with it and have fun. And, so I think that's really just what it's all about. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just do some jamming. And let me get set up here. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play us out. And there again, if I'm playing along and you happen to join this live stream and you have questions, or you have been watching for a little bit and you have a question or two, just throw them in the comment, throw them in the chat right there, and I'll be happy to stop and answer a question if you have one. So hopefully you will download my free PDF and be a part of my community. And hopefully you'll go click on this backing track link and play to it for yourself and really have fun with it. And I'd love to get some comments if you do that, to let me know what you thought about the backing track. Did it help you? What questions did you have? Was there something about it that didn't work for you, or whatever? So I'd love to get you into that conversation. So without further ado, let's go ahead, and I'm just going to jam, and here we go. Hey Scott, thanks for joining me. Hey, you're not here too late. You can go back and watch the replay, but yeah, I'm just kind of jamming a little bit to these this backing track that I created. And here's just kind of a shot of that right there. This is what I'm playing over. Shows you every chord that I'm playing over, and I'm just playing in the different scale positions. There's 5 positions in that major scale that I'm working through. So if you have any questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them for you. Honestly, that's a great question. I want to start doing that. Scott, I really haven't started yet. I've just been working on the live streams. I appreciate you asking that question because my whole goal in the beginning was to start doing live streams, and I've done about 6 or 7 of them. And, you know, the idea was to start kind of trying to learn and start trying to figure out, you know, how to do some stuff online, because I've really never given online lessons on Zoom or Teams or whatever it is. So yeah, I want to do that in the future. I tell you, if you'll, you can download my free PDF document, and then I'll have you on my email list. And there's a link in the description for that. And again, all you got to do is just reply to that email, that welcome email, and let me know that you're interested in some Zoom lessons. And I might even consider it now. I just hadn't, it's not something that I've started doing yet for real for everybody, but I'm definitely interested. So I do appreciate that, that question right there. Do you give Zoom lessons? I really, yeah, I'm going to start at some point. I just hadn't got there yet, but who knows? You might be my first one. So I'm starting to play some leads. What kind of scales do you know? Do you know most of your pentatonic scales, Scott? Let me know if you, what kind of scales do you know? You know, you're like your minor pentatonic, major pentatonic. Do you know all 5 positions of the scales? Something I kind of talked about earlier in the video. To me, one of the most important things, you know, your Mixolydian mode scale pattern. That's cool. That's great. So yeah, I mean, that's for me, that's like the 5th scale position. So you're in the key of A major, not graded all 5. That's cool. Just start with what you know and just kind of work your way through it, you know, because I really believe that you can just start out with just the first position and just play, just using only that position. Or you can go to your second position and then just start using it. Position 1, 2, and 5. So to me, that would be here, 1. This would be 2. And then 5 would be here. Does that look about right? Does that make sense to you? Cool. Well, hey, I'm going to go ahead and check out here. And if you have any questions there, again, I hope you'll download my free PDF and shoot me an email about the Zoom lessons. I would definitely be interested in talking to you about that. So yeah, but I play 5 behind the 1. Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. If I understand what you're saying is basically your major chords, if again, I'm in the key of A major. So A major is your 1, D major is your 4, and E major is your 5. So really, if you were playing in the key of A major and you were playing a mixolydian, say A mixolydian, the only difference in this mixolydian scale right here, only difference is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's got a minor 7 instead of a major 7. So your major scale has the major 7, major 7 back to 1, and your minor scale, I'm sorry, your mixolydian mode scale pattern has the minor 7. Which works really great for a lot of blues stuff. So yeah, cool. Good stuff, man. Well, keep at it. And once again, I just want to say I really appreciate it. And any of you that's been watching, been following along, I'm going to keep doing these live streams. Hopefully I can get more people to join in. And so feel free to share any of these live streams, this one or some of my other ones if you want. And hopefully that, like I said, I can get more people on board, just have more of a conversation. The idea is just to really get some more ideas out there and get some more, people with different takes on whatever it is we're talking about. So let me go ahead and kill all this right quick here. And there we go. So yeah, once again, I really appreciate all of you for checking it out. And if you're in the replay, then once again, just ask me any questions. Be sure and check out my free PDF. And more than anything, like I say, this live stream was about just using your ear and really focusing on that. So from here on, I'm going to say on this Saturday afternoon, y'all keep rocking. And I look forward to seeing you in the next one.